All right. There's this is right here. This is him being himself. You know.
This is just so wild. Hallelujah.
All right. I won't. All right. Fine. All right. Look. There's three things that have to happen with the world that we're going to see. One of them is this guy right here. I mean, we might. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because he has to be crowned, right? And then SJD has to be crowned. And then the real Messiah has to be crowned, if there is one. If there ain't, well then Steve is king, like he said. And if Steve wasn't king, well then Kleck would be king. Kleck would be the king of the Kleckites. Now, the other thing that needs to happen is Trump. All right, because Trump is the Messiah in the mainstream. And Michael Pence, oh, he's helping him too. So, see, he's playing the role where he knows he's gonna Kleck here. He's gonna be Michael, right? Something's gonna happen to him. Something's gonna happen to him and Michael. There's gonna be some kind of rumor about something or another that might happen around September 8th, 9/11. See, what's going to happen is this. There's going to be, the mainstream is going to do the same thing as the social media. Because it's as above and it's so below. Same script is already written for both of them. It might be different, like details, but the same type of script has to be written. So whatever happens to Trump and Pence, obviously they have to be dead in the street or something, and there's going to be rumors that they're dead because the whole world has to buy this story. The whole world has to buy the mainstream story. And then the people that are paying attention to only social media are the ones that are paying attention to who the Messiah is. And Kleck is the top, he's the top runner. In my opinion, he's the top false prophet Messiah that people know, okay? And then you got Stephen James and Sean, who has he has more. He has more to believe than any of these people. But that's because he's the king of these people. I don't even know if they know who he is, but every false prophet Messiah on YouTube has heard of Stephen James Sean. They might not have met him, and they're probably waiting to get crowned by the king. No, wait. See, again, if they're waiting to get crowned by the king, then the king wouldn't be crowning himself. So no, they don't know that Stephen James Deshawn is their boss. They can't know. They can't know. No. Because they think they're in competition with everybody on YouTube. The ones that are in on it, they think they're in competition. Oh, that's why everybody's doing this. It's so crazy that it took a little bit of time. But look, if I start getting my strikes in 4 days from now, well then it's done. All right. This mystery here is finished. The mystery is it's a 2-year process. King Harold killing 2 years on it. The sign in heaven started. Back in September 23rd, 2017, people thought that it was going to be a 9-month pregnancy, and then it was like extended and whatever. But now it's a 2 years you get on YouTube to prove yourself. So the candidates have to have been on there for at least 2 years. That's a requirement. It's a requirement. Now to appear on September 23rd, 2017, I don't. It's not likely, you know. However, if you appeared like 521 days, if you appeared around May 21st, it's a little bit better for you if you appeared right around that, like at that time frame, or maybe even exactly like 5 months and 21 days before that, somewhere around that time frame, like kind of like when Christ was crucified, and then just it's like Christ crucified, and then somebody's supposed to take over. Christ is never dead. That's the whole point. So I don't know. I mean, if somebody popped up like like April 6th, 2nd, just like around 2017, you probably got a better chance. But see, you got to be part of these guys here in order to get that reward. Right here, that guy. So it's a 2-year process, and the second year is coming up September 23rd. That's why from that point on, you have, that's it. That's the last, I'm starting to think that YouTube is still going to be up all the way until like September 26th. September 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. When September 30th comes around, 2019, just call 911. Just call 911. I mean, because who are you going to call? Just call 911, and we'll get the. You can call the false prophet hunter. You just call it a false prophet hunter. Oh man, I'll be there right away. Okay, but you got to give me 911 days exactly until, because I need to have 911 days on YouTube from start to finish, and then I'll be available to call, and I'll get rid of the false prophet. I will hunt him down. So far, I know he's going to be in a Masonic lodge. I don't know what state yet. I'm leaning towards Michigan because that's where the king is of media, or it's in Hollywood, But I just kind of have that feeling it's in Michigan more, because Hollywood's Hollywood, but Stephen James Deshawn, he's Stephen James Deshawn. He's the Fitz-James family. He's the one that has the world script, and he's the one that says do this, do that over there, and get him to do that, and to go follow Robin and Justin to make sure they're who we think they are, and just keep an eye on them very closely, and then we'll get the guys, the boots on the ground to surveil, and then you'll get the media, these people over here, the Meads, you get them to surveil cyber stalking. So that's how that works. That's why the top Luciferian here in the United States is a man named Stephen James Deshawn, who lives over, according to the address written, he is there a lot. 83 Huron Road over there in Michigan, he's there. It's public information that's purposely put out there for you to know. He's supposed to be the most feared person in the world. Just look it up. Just go ahead and Google Vicar of Lucifer, Stephen James Deshawn. That's who it is. That's the guy making videos about me. all the time. He can't stop. He's acting, he's pretending, but look, he's a great actor. He really is. And but I see him as more like being the Saul used to be Saul, and then Paul, because here's what's going to prove it. If Stephen James Shawn is still Saul, then there is not a real Messiah in the world. If he is Paul, then he has seen the Messiah, and now he believes that Christ has come in the flesh. If he doesn't see that or believe it, well then, and this guy here gets the reward. He's the one that gets it. I'm telling you, he's the one that gets it. I can see it by his giddiness with Michael and all the goofiness with this guy. He's singing hallelujah. I mean, come on.
Buzzing up. My whole body is quivering. Yeah, so we're heading over to Jory Leo's place. I've just been singing hallelujah as I'm driving into this place. It's just kind
I'm the Messiah.
Oh my God. It's wild. Just singing the praises of God. Going into Sin City. That's just so random.
Oh yeah, it's so random. Not planned at all.
Hallelujah. It's just kind of welling up inside of me, and it just feels right coming out. That's the best way to explain it. Glory to God, and all glory to the Lord God.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the best way you could explain that one, huh? I just love it, just swelling up inside of me. It just feels so good coming out. It's not my words, it's his. I'm just telling you who he is. Look, the poor guy, man. I mean, look, I have a heart. I know he needs to learn his lesson. You know, but he has to learn his lesson the hard way. So, him, Jonathan Kleck, is the top runner-up. If he's the top runner-up, then it's looking like Michael is a paid agent. It's looking that way because he's the one that has to feed him more and more and more. And that's how he gets deceived big time. Because what he does is he feeds his ego, and then he has Kat on the other line also. That is like his second witness.
Yep. Hey, Kat. Sorry, yeah, I lost the signal. So the number man. Okay, now I'm at Bright Angel Way.
So here she is feeding his ego.
Bright Angel Way. Okay, Kat, do me a favor. Would you send me those? Can you send them to my email?
The 2620.
Yeah. Listen, I gotta go because I gotta get directions. I'm stumped. I'll call you back.
Okay.
These two witnesses, I think they're hired. I think both of them are hired. And what we're witnessing here is the biggest punked episode in the entire world. And I'm documenting it, all right? Because this is going to be played out after this is over. You're going to have my videos showing who before they brought the name out, before they told anybody what this was, before they said anything about it, I'm telling you what the name of it is. It's Who Wants to Be America's Next Top Messiah. What he has to go through whoever wants to be America's Next Top Messiah, and you're on YouTube, and you're part of, see, I have a feeling that like even Steve Fletcher's in on it. I have a feeling that because he seems like more of a, Kleck seems fully deceived just about. He's deceived a lot. I don't know how much, but a tremendous amount. The other ones are all in on it because, but then there's some that aren't, you know, like Lefty. I don't really think you're in on like the end game, but I do believe that you're part of trying to be a Messiah, and then you have two witnesses, but you said they were silenced. They're not supposed to be silenced yet. It's supposed to be 3.5 days. So if they're silenced, well, then you're disqualified, you know. He's not disqualified. He's going to get the prize. Jonathan Kleck is going to get the prize. It will be the crowning. But see, you got to remember Donald Trump and Pence. Let's see. Whichever one comes first. Probably no. I think social media crowning comes first. But that means something would have to happen to Kleck and Michael. Like maybe even oh man, that's perfect. If they go on a vacation somewhere, let's see. If they go, oh man, see, it's tough where this lines up at. But if they go on vacation somewhere, and like the airplane crashes, and then they don't know, or they can't find it, or it's something like that, and then 3.5 days later, that's their script. That's what he knows he's going to play out. Him and Michael both know that they're going to play dead. He doesn't know. Kleck is the only one that doesn't know that the joke is on him. Look, he's going to need some serious counseling. That's why you call 911. He's going to need it. He's going to really need Christ for real in his life to be there for him, because it's going to be devastating when it happens to him. So the same thing has to happen to Trump and Pence, because Michael's helping trumpet. Donald John Trump. Just look his name up in Gematria. You'll see it underneath of it says Messiah. Trump knows he's not the Messiah. Trump is a top 33rd degree Mason, just like Steve and James DeShawn is. They're good buddies. All right. Don't let Steve fool you. They are good buddies, because they're playing out the big horn and little horn. So whatever, I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out what the script is with that, but I think, or they might get attempted assassination too, because of the Grand Junction, right, and the people showing up, and the two twin towers, and whatever he's talking about over there.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, so I just went past Bright Angel Way.
150 feet, turn left onto West Regina Avenue. Turn left onto West Regina Avenue.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, and the ones that act like they got their hands laid on, the lady that's blind, all of a sudden she's healed. I'm telling you, I'm not bullshitting you. Kleck said he laid hands on her and the husband over in Kingsway or something, Angel Drive, and they're like healed the guy that went to, he had Parkinson's. I think he doesn't even have it anymore. He's amazing. Wow. Wow. I mean, it's either one or the other. Either he's fully 100% deceived, and the only thing he's going to do is act like he died to become the Messiah, or he's partly halfway deceived. But I'm leaning more towards like he's just about fully, because the ones on the other phone, on the phone, they have to play that role too, like they're blind. But what he did was he drove into like this gateway, so I could see how Steve would be very cruel like that to make him believe he's opening up the gate to heaven. It's just opening up to heaven.
And
In a quarter of a mile, turn left onto North Dapple Grey Road.
we're almost there. So here we go. This is very interesting. Mighty chosen. That's so odd.
That's a shame.
You can't even think this stuff up. Just can't even think it up. Anyway,
Turn left onto North Dapple Grey.
That truly is him. He truly does seem genuinely excited, like way more excited than he should be. But see, if Michael was hired, if he, I'm just wondering about the Kleck's preference. If Michael's hired, then he's not, you know. But if he's part of it, it's like, but he could be playing on his like heartstrings, just messing with him. And it's like him. He's the one that has the tendencies that he needs to repent from. That's all. And a lot of shame is going to come down. But see, because of the shame coming down, because of him being the Messiah, right? And truly, him. He doesn't believe Trump. I don't think he follows what's going on there. He is being told that he is the Messiah. And so when he arrives, he gets his crowning, and then he's the one that's, look, world peace happens because he's here. And that's like the end result with him. And then 3.5 days later, and then just call 911. Like I said, I'll be right there. He's gonna need some help. But which one happens first? Trump, Pence, or Kleck and Michael, and then Steve, and well, Ryan, you know, and I think one more has to show up. Michael. I think Michael's going to show up. Oh, that was who you were talking about then, Steve. That's what I just thought of that now. When you said Michael was going to help you a while back, and then I burst your bubble and said what you were going to do beforehand, and then Trump signed that 21-day extension. Remember, after 35 days of the government shutting down, what was it, January 25th, and signed the 21-day extension for February 15th, I think it was. Remember that, Steve? I do, clearly. And then I was telling you that because you said Michael was living in the van down by the river, he was going to come down and live with you, and then I just straight blew your script, like you couldn't even mention his name again. And then you did a video maybe a couple weeks ago saying, Michael, you should have come down. You should still come down. I get it now. You got to have a Michael with you. And you got Ron, who's Peter, right? So there's your two witnesses. Even though they're not really witnesses, they're just, whatever they are, they're just, they're not, they're just not the right two witnesses. But there are two witnesses out there that can testify to who you are, truly. And I'm sure there's two other witnesses that can testify, and then two more that can testify to two to the other vessel, and then two to that vessel, and then there's two that can testify to who you are for sure. But there's only three people, and there's six witnesses that group up and say, yeah, I think he is. Yup, I think he. Yeah, do you agree? Yeah, I do. How about you? Do you agree that you are you? How about you? You, him? Yep. All right, we're all in agreement. But you can't have ever known each other in your entire life. That's the deal. If that doesn't happen in life, behind the scenes and everything, well then, like I said, Steve will be the frickin' Messiah. He will be the Christ on earth, and you'll have to deal with it. He'll be the Antichrist, but whatever. But if he believes that Christ came in the flesh, well then he'll be more like John the Baptist, and he'll be more like Paul instead of Saul, and just become humbled over the past 7 to 8 year. So that's how you know, one way or another, if the truth did arrive. If it didn't arrive, then everything goes the way it is, and we have to step into the Antichrist system, and it's starting September 26th, and it would go. See, for the sake of the elect, thank God, right? For the sake of the elect, those days shall be shortened, and they will be. The days of thinking that you got 3.5 more years or 7 years from the time that it starts. Thank God for the elect, because those days are going to be shortened. Now, if, let's just say, Steve does find out which person on social media is true. All right? True to everything that they're saying, and he can prove it. You can only do that if you are in charge of the surveillance in the actual, like, where you're surveilling people. America, mainly here. Only if you're able to have eyes everywhere and see everything, because the only one that could do that is God himself, because he's straight looking at us through our own eyes, and here he can see what you're doing over there behind the wall and the doors. That's how he knows what you guys are doing. The third eye. It's pretty important, because without that, I mean, here's your prime example without the third eye being activated. Now, is he part of the shill corporation? Yes, of course he is. But he's the shill that's promised to be the Messiah. Just like Stephen James Shawn has that authority. He's been given the authority to rule, like the top Luciferian here in the United States is supposed to. That's what he's supposed to do. I mean, I know who he is. I believe that's true. I believe he's the head top gang stalker that's been stalking me this entire time. He's been harassing me. It's only maybe stronger, though. Thanks, Steve. Hey, Steve, thanks, man. For real. That's like thanking Satan for making you sharper, because you're not like, oh, thank you, Jesus. No, thanks, Satan, because you freaking made my life a living hell, and boy, am I better off now knowing the tree of knowledge, good and evil. Thank you, Satan. But see, people don't look at it that way. But that's what Michael's supposed to do in this world. He's supposed to come and help you understand Satan. And then once you finally understand Satan, and Satan understands Christ, well, then it's like peace on earth for real. And it's like heaven comes down to earth for real. That's what the spirit of Michael / Lucifer is supposed to do in these days. He's supposed to be a vessel that shows you what Lucifer can do, what Satan can do, and then what Christ can do. It's like having both. But it's like falling first, like Lucifer, like the stars from heaven, the 144, and then rising up like Christ. But having the ability to do that. So that's what the true Michael spirit, to me, represents. And then So again, there has to be two witnesses. You know, when the Messiah figure starts walking around and makes himself known on YouTube or Facebook, one of the two towers, he has to have two people to confirm who he is, and they can't be anybody he's ever met before in their entire life. Each third person, they can't have possibly ever known each other, because it doesn't work if it's something else other than that. So if that doesn't work in this world, then we're going to go into Antichrist system, and just gonna have to deal with what the Bible says that we're gonna have to deal with. But if the Bible comes true, right in front of your face, then things might be different. So the end game, all right. So the timeline, the end game, is September 23rd. It's 2 years, flat out, 24 months, and then you have 3.5 days of partying until September 26th, and then because everybody knows the scriptures, they know that you have to party for 3.5 days, and people that are telling him, they're like, no, you're the Messiah, you're here to create heaven on earth. And then once that doesn't happen, and James is showing, pulls the rug from under him, and then they open up the door and they say, you've been punked, you know. And then Ashton Kutcher comes out too. That happens on like September 30th, because it's September 23rd. Yeah, absolutely. It's September 23rd is the crowning of the next top Messiah right here in America. And then 7 days, because it's after 3.5 days, great fear falls upon them, Kleck, and them, false prophets, all of them, because they thought that was world peace. And then world peace is going to come around the same time in the mainstream media with Donald Trump. So the same thing has to kind of happen all together. And each Michael individual needs to die or something like that, along with the Christ-like figure in fake life, not real life. And then you got 21 days from that point on to October 21st. Yeah, when I'm gonna know when my channel's shut down, and then when other people's channels are shut down, and you're gonna know the people that got my number, that my contact information, you're gonna know that my channel's not up. And then from that point on, we're going to be eating no pleasant bread for 21 days. And we're going to be still here with the Kings of Persia media, but after 21 days. But see, there's a 21-day period that's going to be extended too, because the 3.5 days is extended. From the time frame that they believe is 21 days, then here comes the real 21 days, and the script that only the 33rd degree Masons know, and the ones that can see. In all likelihood, there's a good chunk of the 144,000 right here on this channel watching the truth, because when you see the truth unfold, you're going to realize, nice, I was listening to somebody that was telling the truth the entire time. How refreshing is that? And then